We're going to talk more about this now with Cécile SIMMONS, an author and expert in gender-based violence. Cécile, thanks for speaking to us. I mean, what do you think? Do France's laws on rape need to be modernized?
Well, I think the reason why we are where we are is because the rate of prosecution is so low. I mean, that 95% of cases are brought to the police will never lead to anything. And so, victims will see their abusers walk free. And I think that the reason why we're kind of debating this now is because there is the belief that introducing consent will make a meaningful legal difference. However, what we see from other countries is that many countries that have a consent-based definition have very similarly very low rates of conviction. I also think that one of the main concerns here is that by shifting to a consent-based definition, we will center the victim and place the burden of proving violence on the victim, whereas what I believe we should do is focus on the perpetrators and the tactics they might use to coerce their victims. I also think that potentially with introducing consent into the law, we believe that we have this piece of legislation that will make a difference, but it's actually a distraction from all the other things that need to happen, including, a comprehensive way to tackle rape culture, including through, education and many other things. So it could potentially be a distraction from the action that we need. So I have concerns.
Indeed, many feminists have concerns. And another problem is, as they say, the devil is really in the details. What if a woman were to say, perhaps, yes, first, give consent, and then perhaps a bit later in the incident, change her mind? Could that be used against her eventually?
Absolutely. And I think that the notion of consent is really fraught. Indeed, there is this, we think of it in black and white terms, as in yes and no, whereas actually consent is incredibly fluid. And there are also many forces that can lead us to consent to things that actually we don't really want. And so it's quite, I think, outside of the law, there is an understanding that consent is a really minimal and problematic entry point into discussing what, sex should be and relationships should be. So I think when it comes to consent in the law, there is a concern that I share from other feminists that essentially this will work in abuser's favor because, I think because of the rape culture we're in, we'll be able to kind of victim blame and we'll be able to, perpetrators will be able to say, well, actually she consented. And I think that could actually end up, expediting cases and actually playing into abuser's favor.
Is this victim blaming, this notion of shame, why so many women don't go forward? I think the number is 6% of those who say they've been sexually assaulted who actually press charges.
Absolutely. I think also I think that women know that if they press charges, they're very unlikely to get justice. And I think there is an understanding of that. I think that as well, we need to think about the way that violence has been normalized in our society through things like online pornography and things like that. So I think it's really, we can end up actually internalizing a lot of the kind of scripts and the violence that we see represented. And so it's not always, you may not always realize that you have suffered from abuse as well.
Cécile, thank you very much. Cécile SIMMONS there speaking to me from London. Thank you.